Question number 10, Jacinda Ardern.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, my question is to the Minister for Social Development and asks, what is the estimated number of families who are recipients of the Parents as First Teachers program who will no longer have access to support when the program is cut in September 2016?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr Speaker, I expect that all families who are currently in the Parents as First Teachers program will still have access to some kind of support after September. We're reprioritising $7.3 million a year from PAFT into Family Start so that we can better target those at-risk families and children who need support the most. Family Start is an evidence-based, intensive home visiting program with proven results, and the changes will see an increase from 5,000 to 6,250 in the number of vulnerable families who can access Family Start at any one time. Parents as First Teachers is aimed at lower-risk families and has shown no evidence of effectively reducing child maltreatment, and families receiving PAFT will be able to access Family Start if appropriate, and other resources such as SKIP, Incredible Years, Whānau Ora, Hippie and Mokapuna Ora, right through to Well Child, Tamariki Ora, Plunkett, Barnardo's, Parents Inc and Early Start. No one needs to miss out.
Supplementary question, Jacinda Ardern.
Is she aware that in many areas, especially those that are rural, Parents as First Teachers, or PAFT, is the only early intervention program available, and even here in Wellington, there will be more than 100 families enrolled in PAFT who will have nowhere to go in just 3 months' time?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr Speaker, actually that's not right, because all areas currently offering Parents as First Teachers will be covered by Family Start. There will be new Family Start locations which include Tauranga, Palmerston North, New Plymouth and Timaru Ashburton. I have made sure that the current PAFT contracts were extended through to September instead of ending at the end of June, to allow providers to work with families to identify the most appropriate support for them.
Speaker.
Point of order, Jacinda Ardern.
Point of order, Mr Speaker. I seek leave to table the list of providers for Family Start, which shows there's no service provision in Wellington and PAFT is the only service
Order.
here.
Where was the list being prepared from?
Embedded deeply in the MSD website.
Then I won't bother to put the leave. Members can find it. I thank the member. Supplementary question, Jacinda Ardern.
Was the evaluation she used as the grounds to cut Parents as First Teachers the same evaluation that her own ministry conducted in 2011 that concluded, quote, "We consider the current evidence strong enough to support continuing to fund PAFT"?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Yes, Mr Speaker, but when you selectively quote from a report, that also says to better meet criteria associated with child maltreatment, PAFT would need to be more intensively and flexibly delivered and perhaps augmented by a case management approach for dealing with more serious family concerns. Same report.
Supplementary question, Jacinda Ardern.
Did SIFS advise her before she cut Parents as First Teachers, claiming that it didn't work with the most vulnerable families, that SIFS themselves frequently refer high needs and at-risk families to this program?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr Speaker, the decision was finally made based on an evaluation by the Ministry of Social Development, and they were not able to determine whether families who were enrolled with PAFT had better outcomes than families who were not. As I say, the PAFT program is being replaced by Family Start, which targets the most vulnerable children in the communities and has shown proven results and is well evaluated. Well, we're talking 2016.
Order.
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
Point of order, Jacinda Ardern.
I seek leave for the Minister to table the evaluation she's referred to. She's used it in an official supplementary response, and it's not an evaluation I've seen publicly available.
Order. It's easily solved. Was the member, the Minister, in giving her answer, quoting from an official document? She was not.
Supplementary.
Supplementary. Order. Supplementary question, Jacinda Ardern.
Has she seen reports from PAF teachers that have listed a huge range of cases of women living with violence, suffering postnatal depression, struggling with premature birth, with English as second language, or just living without support, who have all benefited from this program? And will she commit to meeting with PAF teachers and petitioners about her decision?
Either of those two supplementary questions,
Mr.
the Honourable
Speaker, look,
Antoli.
I understand that there are many families and educators who believe that PAFT has value. What I have said is that there are also, this government is also targeting the most vulnerable children and families. And Family Start is a well-researched, well-evaluated program that shows good results in the reduction of maltreatment.
Supplementary question, Sue Moroney.
To the Minister, why are parents and parenting under attack from her national government, with both her cuts to parents as first teachers and with the financial veto just issued against parents having 26 weeks paid parental leave?
The Honourable Antoli.
Oh, Mr. Speaker, I refute absolutely every assertion in that member's question.
Question number 11.